What's happening? Tom Garman from Guitar Antihero here, and today I want to take just a couple minutes to talk about a question I'm asked a lot, and that relates to music theory, how important it is, do we really need to know all this shit, blah, 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 right? Okay. Now, I understand this question because there are a great many people who we could consider guitar legends who didn't know any of this stuff, right? They didn't know how to read music. They don't know how to read music. They didn't know anything about theoretical concepts or any of that business. In fact, what they did know about the guitar and music specifically, or the guitar specifically and music in general, as is commonly taught and understood, you could probably put in a fucking pipe and smoke, yet they play just fine, right? So I get the question, particularly when it's asked in the context of what we do at Guitar Antihero, with the emphasis on breaking supposed rules and so forth, right? So real quickly here, my 2 cents on this. Number one, most people look at music theory as being the rules by which music is arranged and put together, and you really shouldn't bend them or break them. My personal philosophy is they're not rules so much as they are good suggestions, right? They're not bad. They're not something, though, that we should be bound to at the expense of all else and never deviate from. So with that in mind, my personal take is this: learn what you need to know for when you need to know it, and forget about a bunch of other bullshit, okay? Because something that the notion of learning some theory carries with it, I find, with guitar players, is this idea that you have to learn all this other stuff that really doesn't relate to what you're doing, and honestly probably will never relate to anything you actually do as a guitarist. Yeah, people think they need to learn it anyway, and all that does just sort of, bogs down the old hard drive here, I guess you could say, with unnecessary, useless information. Music theory, like anything else, needs to be useful in order to be usable, okay? So learn what you need to know. And you may not need to learn anything, but even having a little bit of an understanding of, for example, how chords work and chord progressions are put together is going to put you head and shoulders above what most guitar players do and where they are, because most players don't take the time to learn or apply any of this stuff, right? Theory must be applicable in order to be usable. So a few things I would focus on here. Number one, learn what chord scales and arpeggios are. Those are the 3 things we can do as players. Everything we play is either a chord scale or arpeggio or a combination thereof. All right. Number 2, learn the relationships between chord scales and arpeggios. This includes learning how chords are built, how arpeggios relate to chords, and so on. Number 3, learn how chord progressions work. Okay? Learn that shit. Understand why you're doing what it is you're doing, and why everybody else is playing these things for years and years and years, and why the stuff seemingly sounds good together, okay? Those are some places I would start. If you want to expand that out from there, then by all means feel free to do so, but if nothing else, I would definitely nail down those 3 areas, okay? Now, you'll also hear a lot of people say, learn all you can and then forget it when you're playing, blah, 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 blah. Isn't it so nice to do this? It's kind of tough to do. And I don't know that that advice is so well delivered, right? Because it raises a lot of other questions too. To me, what that means is learn shit and then toss it, right? So that you don't become overly dogmatic with that. Now, personally, I'm not thinking in terms of, okay, well, I'm playing such and such, it's in A minor, I'm going to use a Dorian mode here, and then I'm going to switch over to this other thing and add the major 7th to the scale run and blah, 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 blah. I may be doing those things as I'm moving through whatever it is I'm playing, but I'm not thinking in theoretical terms. But I understand the theory behind it if it were to be laid out on paper, okay? So, basically the bottom line there is, if you want to discard your knowledge, you have to have some knowledge to discard. So get your shit together and then toss it out if you don't need it, all right? More on this in another installment. For now, I would start with that. Those are my thoughts on that for anybody who's been asking this stuff and I wasn't clear enough about it before, all right? Do what you need to do. Get it done. Use what you're learning, okay? The best way I would say to learn this stuff is to learn a concept, whatever it is, and then find a way to apply it immediately after you've learned it, so that it doesn't just sit there and it becomes more of this theoretical garbage that we accumulate but we don't ever actually do anything with, okay? So until next time, make sure to hit me up on guitarantihero.com for more info on being the biggest, baddest, best guitar player you can be on your own terms, even if that means doing, kind of form of stuff like music, learning music theory and whatnot, okay? Hit me up at guitarantihero.com, and also hit me up on Twitter at guitarantihero with any questions and comments you might have. All right, till next time, keep kicking ass. We'll see you.